This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. Magazine publisher and entrepreneur Judith Mancini is sharing captivating conversations with experts in their field about the latest trends in our ever-changing world to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Judith Mancini today will spark your interest and inspire you to lead your best life ever. And now, here's Judith.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Judith Mancini today and tomorrow. That's coming soon. Well, it's August 6th, and believe it or not, summer is nearly over. Well, it's still really hot here. It's not quite 100 yet, but it's climbing up, and it's going to be 115. And school starts. Here in the Coachella Valley, in almost every single school, they start today. My grandsons that are the little ones, 8 and 12, in a couple weeks, don't start until the week after next. So I don't know how these kids go back to school and play, like practice football and things like that, or field and track and field, and it's like 120. It's awful. And this climate has changed since I used to come here when I was younger. So what I want you to do, because your kids are back in school, I want you to converse with them today, find out how they like their new teacher, what they're going to be studying, who their friends are that are in their classes today, and maybe they've changed classrooms or teachers or what have you. Converse with your child. Find out what's going on in his life. And be sure you find out, are you picking him up from school? Are you walking him home from school? Maybe you live next door to the school and you don't need to know what's going on. Does your school have a guard at the gate? Is there another way for people to get onto the campus? I'm sorry to have to tell you these things, but that's the kind of world we're living in now. Don't make your kids paranoid, though. Do it so they don't know what you're doing. Just chit-chat with them and find out what's going on and ask them what they're going to be studying. Be interactive with your kids. You'll be happier and they'll be happier. All right, so that's what we're going to do with school, and we're going to keep our eye on it. And what I want to talk about next is what is going on with Dr. Fauci. He's been in front of the committees to investigate him and see why he kept refusing to answer. And today they were voting to see if they could hold him in contempt. We'll see what happens. Keep your eye on that. And then, of course, we have Iran. Remember, your kids are going to now be hearing about Iran because they're back at school, they're back with their friends, they're back with the teachers telling them to keep up on current events. And it's not a pretty picture. We're sending more people over there. For some reason, our government thinks it's really neato-kino to tell them we may be running out of weapons. Are you kidding me? Can't they keep their mouths shut about anything? There was a saying during World War II, loose lips sink ships. Well, it stands today, only we're in high-tech missiles, drones, airplanes. Let's not share what our defense mechanisms are or our weapons of destruction that have to take out Iran and these people who lie about following through on so-called agreements they have reached. So try to keep it away from your young kids so they don't get too nervous. Your kids in high school, they should know what's going on. Many of them may decide to go join the military, and that would be a wonderful thing. Not because I want them to go to war, but because they learn so much. They learn how to get along with people. They learn how to convince people, how to follow along. They get in top physical shape. They get 3 squares a day. Food, that is. It's a good thing. So if they decide to do that, discuss it with them and sign their papers if they really want to go, if they're under 18. I think you have to be 18 to join by yourself. Other than that, you should wait till you're 18. Finish your education in high school at least. And when you come back, guess what? They'll help you go to college. Yes. Amazing our country is, isn't it? All right. So, of course, I have written notes down here, and I can't read them because I didn't take the time to make them look really good. So, I want to talk about politics today, and the one thing, it's going to be very short because I want to talk about protein and supplements. Tell you what you should be doing. It is a pity that somebody is so wrapped up with themselves that they have to only talk about celebrities sending them flowers and things like that. And they're really responsible for thousands upon thousands of people dying from COVID or the results of the COVID vaccinations. I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and she is a registered nurse, and she is a nurse that has done many, many, many things. And she was at the hospital when COVID broke out and they started seeing the patients there. And so, of course, it was mandatory that they get the vaccine. And as I was talking to her yesterday, I was talking about the Fauci trials and what's going on, trials and tribulations. And she said, remember, I got really, really sick last year at the beginning of the year. It was COVID. Well, she had the vaccination like everybody else, but she got it anyway. And it was a fierce one, a fierce one. Sorry about this. Sorry about this. Sorry. Can't seem to turn it off. I am technology stupid. That's all I can say. I am just stupid when it comes to technology. Thank goodness for one helping me. All right. So that's what I want to talk about. There's a new flu vaccine out that they're advertising in every drugstore, grocery store, wherever you can get inoculated for anything. And it's mRNA. Who tested it? Who's bringing it out? I haven't had time to check that one out yet. So if I were you, I'd explore where it's coming from, who's manufacturing it, what's in it. I don't know if you can find that out, but you can certainly find the pharmaceutical company who's putting it out there. And for some reason, I think it's Pfizer, but I could be wrong. So before you take it, please, the same thing with the shingles. You know, you walk around a grocery store these days and they start talking to you. Have you had your shingles vaccine? Have you had your flu inoculation? Are you kidding me? Why are we pushing everything on everyone? Why can't we push, have you had your apple a day? Have you had an orange? Have you had a nice fresh piece of fish? How about a nice small steak off of a beef cow that hasn't eaten anything that's dangerous? It's a better way to go, people, than taking all this stuff that we put in our bodies. And that brings me to my disdain for some doctors. Now, I've talked about my husband quite a bit, and he's had some problems. His cardiologist has gotten him all straightened out with his circulation in his heart, and he didn't need to take a blood thinner. He was a heavy smoker, and he's a little bit overweight right now. But his cardiologist is excellent and thinks along the lines I think of, and my husband thinks of. I don't know if I've told you this, but I met my husband through business because of my health and nutrition magazine that I sold to the customers of his company, which was GNC at the time, really one of the top supplement suppliers in the country. The whole thing has changed, been sold, everything else, he's out of that. But that's how we met. So we think the same about trying to stay healthy, except for his smoking. So we do get along with that. I sort of watch his health. I have to. I'm his wife. I want to. He doesn't take care of himself like that. So we found a great cardiologist here in the Coachella Valley, and we're assigned by our insurance company a doctor to be our primary physician, and he's okay. Here is the thing I want to discuss. First of all, when we moved to the Coachella Valley, I don't know if this has happened to people outside of the Coachella Valley or what, but there were hundreds of thousands of us who were with Humana. I think it was Humana at the time. Our insurance was canceled in November of last year with no warning. The whole thing, not just my husband and myself, we're talking about lots of people here in the Coachella Valley, and they got rid of this one plan. So we were left to scramble around to find something else. If you've ever looked at one of these sites to see which plan you want, it'll make you crazy. It's horrible. It's this and that and everything else. And one takes you for this and one doesn't take you for that, and this and that. So we ended up with a Humana plan that we have apparently a tremendous copay plan on it. Well, the one pill a day that my husband was supposed to take for his circulation, copay of $500 a month, 30-day supply. Well, we got that straightened out, but who the heck has that kind of money that they want to spend on something like that? Well, it'll give you a heart attack right off the bat, thinking of how you're going to pay it. So we got that straightened out. And no, we're not paying it. A little known fact, and I'm not embarrassed to say it, is you can go to your doctor and he may give you a list of the people who manufacture your drug they want you to take, and they can give you some financial aid. Well, we just didn't pay. We're okay. So, I don't like to do things like this. I don't like the way it's going. This is an overlap of something has occurred with the Barack Obama Medicare health programs that he put in when he was in office. And if you remember, the day it was supposed to launch, everything was supposed to be computerized and all. Computers didn't work. It took him a couple of days to get that one straightened out. And as far as I'm concerned, the whole thing stinks. I don't know why I have to pay on Social Security when they're promising us health care and we have to pay more. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense that we have to pay some kind of fee every month to the insurance company, and then we get copays for different doctors and for different prescriptions, what have you. It all stinks. Now, I'm not in favor of Medicare for everyone. We have paid our doctor bills up until, I don't know when, a long time before we ever got into any of these plans. But we both get Social Security checks. We're old. So, of course, we get Social Security because we said it was time for us to have it to supplement other things that we're doing. So I'm not happy with that. And this other doctor that we went to, Lou, all of a sudden, remember I told you that we were having problems with the people who lived up above and the pipes broke and the insurance company won't pay for it. Their insurance company won't pay for it and all of that. And then the woman who lived there moved into a different condominium because she didn't like it, probably because I was screaming and getting upset over how all of this was being handled. We live in a lovely area, don't get me wrong. There's just kind of an idiot who lives up above us and owns it. And I don't mind calling him an idiot. And he's just not nice. So we have to pay to fix our ceiling. Then I'm looking up at it and I can see the bubbles on the ceiling where probably the water has dried up now because it was in April, but it's still all kind of yucky and rusty around the electric lights hanging down, ornamental lights, and bubbles where it sat. And who knows? I don't know how to get up there. We're on the first floor, they're on the second floor. There's no attic space. So it takes a little bit of work. And they refuse to do it. So I digress. Oh, the next thing that happened was my husband, being a lifelong smoker, we watch him very closely for things like pneumonia and things like that because of his lungs, which are pretty healthy. But we want to keep it that way after all this smoking. So the guy upstairs decides, since the water pipes broke and kind of made a mess out of his condo, that he would paint it. So the painters come in and they put plastic over all the windows. This is after the very nice lady moved out to a different rental. This is kind of a mixed area. There's a lot of people who own condos here who live in Canada and the eastern seaboard, and they come here for the winters in Palm Springs to have nice warm weather. So they then rent them out while they're not in residence. So that's why she was able to move. But the owner now gets painters in. Painters in who come dressed in what looks like a hazmat suit. And I'm not kidding you. The gloves, the white uniform, if you will, or clothes, and then this hooded mask that goes all the way up over his mouth and nose with a breathing apparatus, and his eyes sticking out, his nose covered, and he proceeds to spray paint the entire condominium up there. And the fumes are coming down through the walls and anything that they can possibly come through into the breezeways outside, and it's full of VOCs. It's called volatile organic components. It causes all sorts of diseases. Now, there are plenty of paint companies out there that don't have that in their paint. It takes a little longer, maybe for the paint to dry or to last longer, but you're not poisoning yourself and others around here. So, to back up, this was so strong, it was giving me headaches and nausea, and it does cause that. What it did to Lou is worse. I think it caused him to start having a breathing problem. Now, this has been like a month and a half. And last week, a week and a half ago, he started having a problem breathing. Well, he's been to the cardiologist. He's been perfectly fine, all the tests, the scans, and everything else. And everything seemed to be fine. He didn't have pneumonia or anything, but he couldn't breathe when he was lying down at night. He was saying, Judith, help me. Well, I couldn't give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation or anything. I couldn't get enough air into him. But he was not so bad that he wanted to go to the emergency room. So next day, I get a doctor's appointment. And by this time, he had already had a CT scan because it's part of his yearly physical, and it was just time to have it. And they looked at him and they looked at his lungs, and it looked like he had pneumonitis. Pneumonitis is like pre-pneumonia, to be simple about it. And it just got worse. And this happened like instantly. So I called the doctor and he sent us over prescriptions to take, which included inhalers, antibiotics, and what do you call it? Prednisone, steroids. So I've been working on that, but the darn inhaler is so difficult to use that it's hard to get any of the medicine out of it into your mouth to get it into your lungs. Very difficult. And it also has a copay. So that copay is $50, basically. So I'm just telling you, I don't know how people who don't have an income and are living on California funds, state funds, as well as Social Security or whatever you get in these things. I'm not up on that, and I need to study that so I can tell all of you that. But that seemed to help him a little bit. But he's back down, and today is Thursday. On Sunday, he was having another problem again. He just felt like he wasn't getting enough air when he laid down. And then when he got up, it was worse, and he was coughing. So on Monday, I contacted the doctor. So the doctor talks to us and says, come in between 2 and 3. Okay, I understand we don't have an appointment, but it was 3:30 by the time we got to see him, and that makes it hard for all of us. So Lou was sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. All right, so now I've talked to the doctor, and he's doing kind of like a preliminary for the entire physical he has to have in October, yearly physical. Now, the doctor comes in and he starts quizzing him on everything. This, that, and everything. Are you still smoking? Are you just still drinking? Like he was having a glass of wine a night before he goes to bed. He has since that day over the weekend on Sunday when he was having another problem breathing, he hasn't smoked a cigarette and he hasn't had any more wine because I just won't buy it. So The cigarettes, he has some, but he isn't smoking them. They're gone. He gave them up. He saw what it was damaging his organs. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is we went over what Lou takes. Okay, so he takes the one for blood thinner, which is the one that is so expensive with the copay. He takes that. The next thing I know he takes are vitamins and supplements that I give him. He doesn't take anything else. So he takes thyroid. He doesn't take anything else. I give him vitamins and supplements, and I've told this to the doctor over and over. But he doesn't believe me, so he tells me, oh, give him B1 and B12 and give him Crestor for his cholesterol. Now, my husband is from Italy. He's basically been on a Mediterranean diet all of his life, and he eats healthy. He gets very low numbers when he goes and has his blood tested for cholesterol. He's never had to take anything for cholesterol. If you don't have enough cholesterol in your body, that's going to cause you problems. Everything was perfectly fine. Now, with his cardiologist, he said, is he still taking any kind of statins? Because since we've been here for 2.5 years, hadn't gone to a doctor because we didn't need one and we were remiss on doing it. We did get the primary and all of that, so we could have emergency care. But he wasn't taking anything for statins except red yeast rice, and CoQ10, plus a couple other supplements that I think everybody needs as an adult and as we age: folic acid, a multivitamin, B1, B12. B1 is the folic acid. I think everybody should take those things, and maybe something for your immune system like vitamin C or L-lysine. Those are all legitimate things. Now, there was a blood test done on my husband when he went to his 6th month, 2 months ago, appointment with his cardiologist. Just when you have something wrong with your heart or your circulation, you need to do that every so often. And when we were in there chit-chatting with him about everything that was going on, he says, oh, I see his cholesterol is just great. Is he still on the statins that I suggested that he take? And I said, no, he's taking red yeast rice. He says, oh, I don't have a problem with that. A lot of people are switching from statins. They seem to have problems, weak muscles, trouble walking. So he is happy with his cholesterol numbers and the red yeast rice and the CoQ10, which, by the way, if you take statins, you should definitely take CoQ10. I am not prescribing things. You just look and check out these things yourself with your doctors and any information you can find. So what I'm saying is the primary physician wants to give Lou a nebulizer, which I didn't know what it was. I know what inhalers are. I did not know what a nebulizer was, and it seems to be a machine where you put liquid medicine in it and it comes out as a mist, and you have a headpiece that goes over your mouth and nose so that you inhale this mist, which is easier than using the other thing, the inhaler. For some reason, my husband has trouble using, and I have trouble turning it on. It's really hard to use. So I looked to see where I'm supposed to get this prescription. Well, it's over 100 miles away at this pharmacy. Now, here in the Valley, we have CVS, we have Walmarts, we have regular pharmacies. We have all kinds of pharmacies. But this doctor didn't want to give him anything that was at these pharmacies. And I want to know why. Because there's a big copay on this one, $150 or something like that. And it's 100 miles away. So obviously, I'm not going to be driving up there to get it. And when I called this pharmacy that had the prescription called in from the doctor, she says, you have a copay of $150 and we'll ship it to you. And I said, oh, so 150 copay and I have to pay shipping? She said, oh, well, we won't charge you shipping. Well, of course not, because you tack it on to the copay. I'm furious. So after podcast today, where will you find me? At Walmart, CVS, trying to figure out what we can do to replace this nebulizer with another nebulizer with medicine in it that will help my husband breathe easier for a while. The good part out of all of this is he does not have pneumonia. And I think once he gets his lungs totally cleared out of these VOCs from the paint upstairs, I think he'll feel much better. Plus the heat here bothers everybody. So gotta stay in your house with the air conditioning. So that's my story with that today. Ask your doctor questions, because I'm telling you right now, I'm taking my information and I'm going to the pharmacies myself and I'm going to ask them, what can this be replaced with? That, number one, is reasonably priced. And number two, what's in it and why can't we get it the right way? Excuse my notes. So that's what I'm doing this morning. And then, of course, when I get it changed to a different nebulizer, I'll let the doctor know. And I'll let the doctor know how Lou is doing. And we'll have him rechecked. And if it's not working right, we'll figure it out. But I think it's phony. Why would you call in a prescription to something that you know is 100 miles away? Well, it turns out you can get any prescription you want from this pharmacy, and you don't even have to have a doctor's okay. Apparently, they have people there that can okay them. Nope, not for me, not for my husband. Maybe I'm stupid over all of this because I worked in the industry with the supplements and all for so long with my magazine. But that's the way it is right now. So my other deal in my head is protein. Protein, everybody needs protein. But the controversy now is how much and from where does it come? Well, this has been brought up. Of course, everybody needs protein and everybody's drinking protein drinks, especially people that are into working out and bodybuilders and guys running races and athletes and normal people like me. And my husband. Now, I'm a little chubby in the chubby tummy. So I wanted to go on protein drinks for breakfast. I don't even eat fattening. I just haven't exercised for 5 years after losing my son. It didn't help to stop exercising, but I spent a lot of time just contemplating and missing and loving and grieving. So I wasn't taking care of myself. So I decided I'd better get back in shape. And I started protein drinks, and I looked at quite a few of them, and I tried some of them, and I wasn't happy, because there's different things that you can do with protein drinks. One thing is I was alternating what we would eat for breakfast. No oatmeal. It doesn't have anything in it. It just has some bulky fiber in it. And boy, they got in trouble for putting on it prevents lowers cholesterol. I think they put on their packages there for a while. Oatmeal is not, excuse me, not a great thing to eat. and certainly not sugared cereals and other things like that. So I thought, let me try protein shakes. Well, okay, so the reason you lose weight and I am losing weight, not rapidly because I'm not taking that GPL-1 or whatever the heck it is. I think it's dangerous, and you're going to see sooner or later that there are terrible side effects. And actually, I've already said on this show that you can tell some of the people who take it because their faces lose all the fat and they come down like this. And so there are already some bad side effects to these things. So I never went to any of those things to lose weight. I pretty much kept in shape most of my life by walking, playing tennis, skiing, bicycle riding, different things like that, like people do. So I thought, okay, well, how about I'll take protein shakes in the morning? So I've been trying the different proteins. And because you feel fuller with a protein drink, you don't eat as much later in the day. I kind of changed my protein drink around. I love fruit, but I don't sit down and eat a bowl of fruit. I mean, maybe we have strawberries for dessert with it, whipped cream or something. Don't get me wrong, I like a chocolate eclair too. So everything in moderation. So I pretty much also only have a glass of wine in the evening with dinner. I'm no longer doing that because I wanted to lose a little weight. So some of the protein will make you feel fuller so you're not eating as much. And you can see what's on the label of the protein powders you're buying. They're not inexpensive, but they help you a lot. Now, when you're taking some of these different protein powders, they say put it in water and shake it up, or put it in a blender and shake it up. I kind of mix mine up a little differently. Bananas are good for you. They're full of potassium. They're very healthy for women in particular. I put strawberries in it and blueberries in it because those things are very good in antioxidants for you, and they taste delicious. So I kind of soup it up like that. Once in a while, I put mango in it. I can't find any nutritive value in mango, but it sure tastes good. So I put that in it sometimes. Sometimes I put pineapple in it. And I just whip it up. And Lou and I each have 2 full drinks. Once in a while, I'll put orange juice in it, something like that. But remember, orange juice, you have to get it without added sugar. And you better make sure it's fresh, squeezed in a bottle, and not sitting on the shelf in the store for a long time. Normally, I just use bottled water and mix it up, and we have 2 full glasses each. But because it's made with water, it's not full of calories. Now, you can get allergic reactions if there's something in it that you're allergic to, so you have to always read the labels. It can also cause gas, bloating, diarrhea, or cramps, and that's because you may be lactose intolerant. You may be drinking one that has milk or dairy products in it. There's no need to do that. Sometimes I put yogurt in ours, but we're both okay with that. But I don't put a lot of yogurt in it. I do it mostly to flavor it up a little bit. I put maybe a quarter to a half a cup of yogurt for 2 people. So I like that. We've never had a problem with this. I've been very careful choosing it. And what you want to do is get a protein powder. They come in bags, or they come in containers like this. They'll give you all the specifications on it. I am not touting this as one particular brand. I don't get paid for it, and I don't want to tell you what to take. So you have to explore yourself. This happens to be the one we're in, the one I buy all the time. This has a vanilla flavor in it, and it comes from the vanilla beans. This has no soy in it. It is 140 calories for 8 ounces, 21 grams of plant protein, which in this one is from peas and peas and oh 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 I'm losing you. Peas and I can't see the small print. I want to tell you so you can get it. No soy, no dairy, gluten-free, non-GMO, vegan, 3 grams of sugar. So the thing that comes with this is organic pea protein and organic oat bran fiber. Those are your proteins that are in there. So it's vegan. You don't have to worry about getting something from a cow that's eaten something you don't want. We take it every day. And then on the weekends, when I have more time, I will often serve us eggs because eggs are very healthy for you. Don't listen to what people tell you about food. They just don't like eggs. Okay, eggs are healthy. They're full of protein. They're good for you. And that's my take on protein. Now, I want you to know there are a couple doctors and science people who are always on the internet and telling you different things, just like I do. And we all say, do your own research. Here's the thing. Sometimes reports will come out and it'll be from some scientific institute, and all of a sudden they'll say, this is not good for you. If you will live longer if you don't take protein, if you don't eat protein. Well, that's not proven. This was a study done, and there's nothing in the study that says this will make you live longer. If you want to live a long life, there's multiple things you need to do. And I've done shows on this before. Look up the blue zones, and see how old the people are and what they eat and what they do. They're always moving. They're always mingling with people, being interactive all the time, thinking young, being happy, and they eat very healthy, but they're not shunning protein. You need the protein. But you don't need the protein like a bodybuilder needs the protein or somebody who's growing. You know, when you're growing like you're a teenager and you're going to school and you're participating in athletics and all sorts of different things, because you're still growing, you need more protein than normal people. So moms and dads, think about that when your kids are working out, when they're home from school. Do the protein drinks. When you're starting a workout program, your muscles are weak and all of that. And protein builds muscles. And that's why bodybuilders drink a lot of protein drinks. And if you're recovering from an injury, and boy, I told you I hurt my sciatic when my husband fell the other day. And my protein drink, I think, is helping heal it. There's no way to check and see, but I haven't had any injections or chiropractors or anything like that, and it's almost gone. Heat, stretching it out, walking, things like that often heal what you feel as pain. Yeah, I know. Twice I've had this problem. One was when we were going to fly to China for business. And at the same time, we were moving from Michigan to California. So I was packing up the house, and it was a big, big house. Of course, I had movers there, but that doesn't mean anything. You got to manage everything to get it there so you don't leave something. So I was running up and down the stairs while we were getting packed for both projects, going to China for business and packing up the house to move. And I hurt my back, sciatic. And when we got to China, I went to a Chinese medical place that was into herbs, and they fixed me up with some herbs, and that took care of it right away. And this time, I think the protein really had a lot to do with it. But you have to move. Even when you have an injury, you can be very careful, but you have to move your muscles because you're just going to lose muscle mass and feel worse. And if you have something like my husband who has a little congestion in his lungs, you need to move to get that out of there. So that's it for today, folks. I want you to check these things out. Oh, and beware, the protein shakes are not cheap. It depends on how they package them, but they could be anywhere from $20 or less for quite a bit, up to $100, depending on what they put into it. So read the labels. Read the labels and take only things that are going to make you feel better. So that's it for today, people. I'm going to head out to the pharmacies, call the doctors, and everything's going to be peachy keen. And that's my husband's favorite saying. How you doing today, Lou? Oh, I'm peachy keen. And he is. So I want you to be too. So discuss it with your significant other or a friend and get out, enjoy life, and thank God that we live in the best country in the entire world. And let me tell you something in closing. The midterms are coming up. The primaries for the midterms have just about ended. I think there's a couple more states going in the next 2 days. If you're a Democrat and you're voting, I hope you are, or a Republican, I want you to think about something. There are people out there who have a lot of money, and Mom Donnie, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly because he's been all over people saying we're not pronouncing it correctly. He became mayor of New York. Donnie is not poor. He has a large home overseas. For some reason, I want to say Uganda. I can't remember where it was. I'm not too interested in where he lives. All I know is he doesn't. He is an American citizen. I guess he got his citizenship papers. But he's not a democratic socialist at all. He's a communist. And so are the people supporting him and the others going around. And once again, don't just take my word for it, but don't take their word for it either. We cannot become a communist country because this will be the end of us. And believe me, if they change the Senate or the House by putting more of these younger people who are communist into office, that's what they've been planning for several years. And people like them who say we deserve to have 9/11 and kill over 2,000 people, that's not what we want. We don't want our apartment in New York to be taken away from us just because we have worked our bottoms off to make a living and to put something aside and something to enjoy when you live on the West Coast and you want to go to New York to see the theater. We don't want people to confiscate our property. That's communism. We don't want our local bodega to be shut down and then go to some huge grocery store where they claim that the prices are 30% less. That's bull poopy. It's not true. Where do you think they're going to get the food? You think they're going to pay the farmers for all this food going into these big, huge government stores? No, the shelves are going to be empty. They can't afford, the farmers, the ranchers, they can't afford to live off what the government is going to pay them to stock these government-run grocery stores. Now, so far, none of them have opened. They've just taken tours of them. And it's sort of like Gavin Newsom's train to nowhere. Bring all the money from the people and spend it on whatever you damn well please, like maybe dinner at the French Laundry. It's not right. You don't want communism. It's not going to help you any. It's not going to let you decide where you want to send your kids to school and how you want to educate them. Communism is not funny. It's not the thing to do. It's not funny or fun. So think about that and do your best to keep America free. All right, thank you for joining me. I guess I was a Debbie Downer today. I didn't mean to be, but I want you to check out the protein. I want you to eat a healthy diet and live a long life. Cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, and live today. Thank you.